hello everyone. Good Tuesday evening to you, and welcome to the first time this show has been on my channel. But welcome to Backlog Battlin, round 6. We're picking it up. It's been a while since we've done this, but we were doing this on Carl's channel. But he's like, hey, you want to move it to Tuesday since you're not doing anything on alternating Tuesdays? I'm like, that sounds good to me. So we're resuming Backlog Battlin so we can talk about what we've been playing lately. So how you doing tonight, Carl?
I'm pretty good. Been a very, very busy couple days, that's for sure. My company that I work at got bought out, so now we're having a giant audit at my job.
Well,
so they're just been doing inventory all day. I missed out a lot of gaming news today, that's for sure.
no, there was a lot. Yes, that's true. But I hope that doesn't mean that your job is going anywhere.
As far as I know, no. Let's knock on some wood here, but I don't know that we've done some research into this company. It doesn't seem like they're known for buying things and then gutting them. So let's hope that trend continues.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
It's funny the timing on that because I've been rewatching The Office, and I just literally like 10 minutes ago while I was eating dinner before watching the first episode after Dunder Mifflin got bought out by Sabre.
Yeah. I remember that one. I also think of the Parks and Rec episode when the two towns merge together.
Oh.
And they have to like figure out who the redundancies are, and they just basically hired the polar opposites of who they are.
Yeah, yes, that's right. I do remember that. That's one when Ron and I forget his name. I think it was Ron as well, played by Sam Elliott.
Yes.
Yes, that was good stuff. I've seen the two of them interact.
Yeah. It's my favorite. What's the
like the juxtaposition?
April's line. She's like, she's the worst person in the world. I just want to travel the world with her. It's one of my favorite lines out of that whole series.
She's great.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, yeah, there was a lot of news today. I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of news tomorrow. So, are you doing your news show on Friday?
Thursday.
That's right. You moved it to Thursday. So
we kind of moved it Thursday. Yeah. I think right now our friend Tyler, he's going to be on instead of Jay this week. But
awesome.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to that, and of course we're doing our show tomorrow night still, right?
Yes, Mass Effect 2 tomorrow night.
All right, cool. Well, we'll talk more about that later. This is the show that I originally started, but I think I want you to take the mantle because I'm trying to figure out what I want to do, and I feel like you could still have this show and have multiple guests on. I could still come on from time to time, but I feel like this could help you a little bit more. Now you got a third show in the rotation. And yeah, just keep it on the channel. Make it your own thing. Make a opening video too, a wild one.
Yeah, I'm not really great with that, but we'll see.
Yeah, we got time to think about that.
But yeah, so all right. Well, yeah. So if anyone hasn't been around for Backlog Battle, we just talk about a few of the games we've been playing lately, what we like about it, what we don't like about it, go in depth into just all aspects of whatever game that we want to talk about, whether it's new or old. And we both got 3 games to talk about. So what do you say? Do you want to kick us off, or do you want me to kick us off?
You know what we need? We need like a coin flip app that we can just flip over here, and then whoever goes first. But you know what? Since this is more so your inaugural show on your channel, let's go with you.
All right. Let's see here. Which one do I want to talk about first? Okay, I'll go ahead and kick us off with the controversial one.
Controversial.
And the game itself isn't controversial, just my take on it is. And that is a few weeks ago, Super Metroid got a retro achievement revision. So a few additional, there's like 10 or 12 or so achievements added on to what the set already had. So gave me a good excuse to go back and play through it again. I played it actually, and because of that, I ended up just wrote my full review and published it yesterday because I don't like writing a review on a game that I haven't played in a long time, and I want to write a review on all the Metroid games. So after I play each one, not in any particular order, but after I play one, I'm like, all right, now that I just played it, it's fresh, I'm going to write a review on it. So I ended up writing, I had already given it a score, but I hadn't actually written a review on it. So this was a perfect excuse to go back and play through it again. I did not get all of the new achievements, but I got probably about 75% of the new achievements. I didn't have the completion of it prior to this anyways. I think it was like 54 achievements and I had like 50 of them, and now it's got like 68 and I have like 64 of them or something along those lines. So I have achievements, but I don't have the full completion because it requires like beating the game with 100% in under like 3 hours or something, which I could probably do. I just haven't figured out like what the best route is or anything for it. But I will probably go and do it. Probably the hardest ones. There's a couple of achievements for like at the beginning of the game. You have to after you defeat Ridley, and you have to escape the station at the beginning. You have to do it in like under 40 seconds, which is really difficult. And there's also 2 achievements at the end of the game after you beat Mother Brain for escaping and under a certain time limit. There is an achievement for beating it with, I think, a minute and a half still left on the clock. And then there's also an even harder achievement for having 2 minutes left on the clock. And I think you only start with like 3 minutes. So it's basically you have to escape in under a minute. So those are the tricky ones that I don't know if I'll ever complete. But the 100% in under 3 hours, I could probably do those. Anyways, all that to say is I went through and I wrote my review to preface that, I am a huge Metroid fan. It's my second favorite franchise of all time. But Super Metroid is lower on the I actually have on Game Shelf. I have a list of all the Metroid games and where I rank them, and Super Metroid is actually towards the bottom of that list. Not that it's bad, it's just so many people regard this as like one of the greatest games of all time, and it's like this flawless masterpiece, and it's like you're looking at it as a way too much nostalgia because this game has got a lot of flaws. So I wrote an in-depth review, and I wrote it out on my Google Docs first, and then I posted it and pasted it into Game Shelf, and it was like 4.5 pages or something. So I often say that when I don't write many reviews, but when I do, I make them quite in-depth and explain like why I gave it the score I do. It's not just like I like this game, so I gave it a 10. It's like, no, I either I liked or didn't like this game, and here's all the reasons why. So, anyways, yeah, so I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. But this is also, there was one line I put at the end of my review, and because of this one line, I'm like, you know what? I haven't played this yet, so I got to play through it to make sure that this line is true before I post it. So I did a second playthrough of a slightly different version, and that is called the Super Metroid Redux, and that is a ROM hack of the original Super Metroid, and it basically fixes all of my issues with it. So I gave that like a 9.5. There's only like one thing that could possibly make it any better. So I'm going to kind of talk about the two in tandem because they're both the exact same game. It's
Okay.
ROM hack has a lot of like quality of life improvements. So I know you're not big on like the Metroid franchise. Have you played Super Metroid?
I have barely played any Metroids. It's on the to-do list.
That's what I thought I remember. So, oh, you know what? I was gonna pull up just gameplay of it, but I can't. Oh, you know what? Let me do this. I was like, I need 2 tabs, one for the gameplay and one for my review. So give me just a moment here. I didn't come prepared for this. We're playing this by ear. So I'm gonna pull up. Sure, there we go. All right, and then let me share this so we can look at it while we're. What is this? Why are no? That's a bad version. I don't know what the heck this is. Sorry. Long play. There we go. Let's go with that one. That one looks like a little bit more, probably like an unedited one. It's just I don't know why my YouTube is taking so freaking long to load. Hurry up! I'm trying to filibuster here. So you said you played a very little Metroid at all. Have you beaten any of the Metroid games?
I barely have played Metroid Prime. I've been trying to play it, and I just got sidetracked. That's my biggest problem.
Okay, well, that's a good place to start because that is my favorite one.
Yeah, I have the remaster. I have all of the Metroid games. I've been also waiting for my Wii U to be fixed. That's another problem that we've been running into. So my Wii U actually has how do you say, a problem with connecting to 1080p. So it's like one of the chips burnt out on it. So like I'm trying to get that fixed so I can play Metroid Prime 2. Well, Metroid Prime 3 to be more specific, because I have the collection for the Wii.
Wii trilogy.
Yeah.
That's
like
like Super Metroid on Super Nintendo, because I don't actually have a physical copy, and the Wii trilogy, the Steelbook, are like and Mega Man X2 are like the 3 top games at my list of physical games that I want to collect for some of the older stuff.
Because I actually have that one. Also, no, I'm not going to spoil it. I know what I'm getting you for Christmas, but I want to keep that secret.
All right. Well, see, I don't know. What? Load, you piece of crap. What is taking so freaking long? It's a 480p stream of Super Metroid. See, I don't know why my YouTube is being so freaking stupid.
It's a California internet, right? That's a wildfires, right? Blame that.
I don't know that we have any wildfires right now. I haven't heard of any.
I know, just blame them anyway.
All right. Well, I'll turn that off until it decides to freaking load.
Yeah.
Piece of crap.
I mean, worst case scenario, treat this like a podcast. You know, I think you can have it labeled as a podcast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I already said it as a podcast. So
yeah.
Anyways, this is really freaking pissing me off. All right. So to get into the details of Super Metroid, so I'm sure you're probably familiar with Super Metroid, even though you haven't played it.
Yeah, I think through osmosis, I've learned about, Samus Aerith and her adventures.
Samus Aerith. Was that intentional or was that a joke?
It was a joke.
Okay, good. I thought that was probably the case. All right, let's see. It seems to be working out. If I pull it up, is it going to work? Hey, there we go.
There we go.
So, all right. So, I'll just give you kind of the rundown on my review. If you want to read it in depth, it is on Game Shelf. So, shout out to Game Shelf. You can go read my full review there. But I'll just kind of give you the points on what kind of make my MO, so to speak, for when I write reviews. I give all the pros, all the things I like about the game, and then all the cons and all the things I dislike about the game. So the pros of Super Metroid is the music is fantastic. I still think it has probably the best music in the entire franchise. Although Metroid Prime is probably the one that I would say is in most contention, because Metroid Prime's music is also fantastic. The atmosphere of the game is just excellent. That's kind of hard to... One, that's a hard thing to get right in a game, but it's also like hard to like describe, like when a game gets it right or not. It's just kind of like one of those like feeling things. You can't really describe it. But I think the atmosphere is done very well in the game. This game is still the best game in the franchise for sequence breaking, which is doing things out of order. And that's one of the reasons why it has a huge like speedrunning community, because you can I still haven't watched it, even though I see dudes in chat. What's up, dude? So meanwhile, I got a 3-hour 100% completion on my first try. You've probably played it a lot more times than I have. But a dude sent me a video of that you can actually beat all the bosses in this game in the reverse order due to how extensively you can sequence break the game. So it adds a lot of replayability. And it's just got a great gameplay loop of constantly getting more power-ups, and just when you're it's like, hey, I've been playing for this amount of time and I don't have any new abilities. It's like, oh, hey, perfect time. There's a new ability, which, makes me feel a little bit stronger. Or like, oh, now I can go back to this area and I can explore, this area because I couldn't reach it before. It's got the great gameplay loop, which is one of the things that I had a big issue with on Blast Brigade. So those are some of my pros. And then the cons, the reason why I'm much harsher on this game than most people are, is the controls in original Super Metroid are freaking terrible. And one of the biggest points that is these Metroid games on Game Boy Advance, which is Zero Mission and Fusion. Game Boy Advance has less buttons than a Super Nintendo controller, but the controls on those games are far superior to this game when it has more buttons. And I don't understand how obviously the Game Boy Advance came later, but I just don't understand why the controls are just so bad. And they're like, oh, just remap them. It's like, you can't fix the controls in this game with the remapping. So the X-ray scope is just slow and annoying. You know, it's an optional thing. You don't actually need it, but the X-ray scope is not great. The grapple beam is really janky, and I hate the thing. And I can't wait to get the space jump. Fortunately, the amount of time between getting the grapple beam and the space jump is not that long, so you don't have to deal with it for very long because the space jump completely eliminates the need for the grapple beam. The map isn't bad. There's just some annoyances about the map that they got again in the later games. Metroid Fusion, Metroid Zero Mission, the map is better because in those games, any room that you enter, if it has a collectible in it, it has a little circle on the map, and then once you collect it, it turns into a dot to indicate you've got all the items in this room. So it's pretty easy to figure out exactly what rooms still have items in them at the end of the game when you're going around doing the collecting. And Super Metroid, it doesn't have that. It just has a dot, whether you've collected the item or not. So when you're trying to get all the items at the end of the game, you have no idea whether that item has been collected or not. And then not all rooms that have collectibles in them even have a dot on them. So in order to go around getting all the items, you basically have to check every single spot because there's no way to tell whether you've gotten the items or not. And another thing that the game like seems like it does, because when you first load in, it gives you like this overworld map and it shows like all the different regions, and then you hit the button again and it zooms in on the current region that you're in. So it makes it seem like, oh, I could zoom out and then go and look at a different region in the game and see that area's map. But no, you can't do that. The only way to view the map of a different area is to actually go to that area and then pull up the map. That's the one thing that I've never seen any ROM hack do, which it's in the game. I don't know why that's not a thing. But that's another annoyance. That's a very little thing. But the fact that it kind of like indicates that you should be able to view the entire game's map from anywhere, that at least anywhere that you've been, but it doesn't actually do that. I remember when I first played this, I'm like, how the heck do I get back to that map and view the different areas? The only time you ever see that overworld map is when you're loading into the game from the start menu. So that's another thing. And then there's a point of no return at the end of the game, and the game does not tell you this, and it's completely arbitrary. There's zero reason at all why you shouldn't be able to go back. It's just you go into the final area and the door locks behind you, and there's no way to get out. So if you want to go back and collect 100% of the items, then and you've already saved, then you're out of luck and you got to start the whole game over again. The spin jump is or actually one of the other things that next to the controls is my biggest gripe. My second biggest gripe is the space jump. It has a mind of its own, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it works when you push the jump button and all you gotta do is press it once and it works like the way it should. And then other times you got to hit the button 4 or 5 times in order for the space jump to activate. And the space jump is basically the infinite jump ability you get at the end. So you can stay airborne forever, but it just sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, and it's so frustrating because it doesn't work consistently. It has like a mind of its own. So those are like my biggest gripes with the game. I do have a couple other little itty bitty ones, like the transitioning from one room to the other is insanely slow. That might have been a limitation of the hardware. I don't know, but when you go through a door and how long you gotta wait till the next room appears is annoyingly long. So was there any other thing? Oh, another just minor thing as the ammo stations. You have 3 types of ammo, and that is your regular missiles, your super missiles, and your power bombs. But the ammo stations only refill your regular missiles, not your super missiles or your power bombs. Very minor, but just a small annoyance. And what was there was one other thing I was going to say about the biggest thing that I have an issue with the controls is that all of your abilities, which there's 5, that like I said, there's missiles, super missiles, power bombs, X-ray scope, and grapple beam, are all tied to one button, and you have to hit the button to cycle through all of those every single time you want to switch your weapons. So that's one of the reasons why. That's probably my biggest complaint with the controls. There are some others, but the fact you have to cycle through your abilities constantly to just switch between your different abilities that you use all the time is really freaking annoying. So those are all of my gripes on Super Metroid. Still a good game. I enjoy it. When it got a set revision, I was excited to play through it again. And I enjoyed it. However, as I alluded to at a few minutes ago, is at the end of my review, I wrote that I mentioned a couple of ROM hacks of the game that I think are better versions. One is one I actually played last year, I think it was, and it was the Super Metroid GBA edition, which is actually a ROM hack of Zero Mission. And it plays just like Zero Mission because it's based on Zero Mission, which is the Game Boy Advance game. But it rebuilds Super Metroid in the Game Boy or in the Zero Mission engine and with the Zero Mission assets. A lot of the assets are the same, like the bosses, but there are a few bosses that are in Super Metroid that are not in Zero Mission. So they had to take some creative liberties with it. It was good until I played the other one that I mentioned, Super Metroid Redux, which is actually a ROM hack of a Super Metroid. So it's the exact same game. The physics are the same, the map is the same, nothing has changed about the game itself. It's just tons of quality of life improvements, like the space jump works the way it's supposed to. You don't ever have to worry about, well, not like I said, the space jump, you have to hit the button multiple times sometimes just because it doesn't want to work. It works. The only time I had an issue with it not jumping when I hit the jump button is when there's a lot of stuff going on screen and there was like frame drops and the game was like slowing down. It's like it was slowed down so much that it didn't register my input. But other than that, the space jump works perfectly in the Super Metroid Redux. The controls basically take the Game Boy Advance controls, where instead of having to cycle from missile to super missile to power bomb to X-ray scope to grapple beam and back, you just hold the right bumper to instantly switch to missiles, and you just have to push the whatever button you select. For me, it was the actual select button is to cycle through, but you only have to cycle through missiles, super missiles, and the X-ray scope. No, the X-ray scope has a dedicated button, which was nice. So you only had to cycle through missiles, super missiles, and not even power bombs, because when you're in Morphball mode, you just hold right bumper and hit shoot, and instead of dropping a regular bomb, you drop a power bomb. Do a grapple beam. So you only have to cycle through 3 things, and it's just so the controls are like perfect. So it also fixes that door at the end of the game that locks for no reason. It doesn't lock, so you can get back out of there. So I haven't written my review on Redux, but I'm basically just going to copy and paste my Super Metroid review and just change all of my cons to pros, because it fixes almost everything. The only thing it doesn't fix is, as I mentioned, the full map. You can still only see the map of the area you're currently in. The only thing that I think would make it better is if you could get that overworld map and then switch to a different area and view that map without actually going to it. But it also adds like the dots and stuff on the map for any room you've been in that doesn't have a that has an item you haven't collected yet, so you can know exactly what rooms you still have items left to go and collect. So it makes wrapping up the item collection at the end of the game so much easier. So the Super Metroid Redux, in my opinion, is the definitive way to play Super Metroid. It's the exact same game. You wouldn't even be able to tell. You almost can't tell if you were looking at it, because, like I said, it's like the exact same game. It just has a ton of quality of life improvements that you'd only recognize from actually playing the game. And it is phenomenal. So it basically fixes all of my issues, and I gave the Super Metroid Redux a 9.5, and that's just because the only thing it's missing, like I said, is that map ability. Because the only games that actually do that in the Metroid franchise are the Prime games. You can zoom out and look at a map of a different area. The only 2D Metroid games that have that ability is Dread and Zero Mission. Fusion doesn't even have that. I went back and checked. I was like, I'm gonna boot up Fusion real quick and see if it does that. You can't even do that in Fusion. But that's the only reason why I didn't give it a 10. If it had that, I would have given it a 10, because Super Metroid Redux is phenomenal and it fixes all my issues with the original game, and I highly recommend it. I think it's the best way to play Super Metroid. So
okay, very cool.
All right. So just catching up on chat here real quick. Dude says, to be honest, the only thing the game really needs fixing is space jump. Yeah, space jump. But no, there's a bunch of those other things that, in my opinion, need to be fixed as well. So outside of that one room in Meridia, the grapple beam is fine. Yeah, it's really annoying because there's a couple areas where you have to like do multiple grapples in a row, and if you don't get the timing like just right, you fall down. You have to basically start it over again, which is really annoying. Is first time. That is one thing that I did mention in my review, is that it is a huge step up, because Metroids 1 and 2 didn't even have a map. So the map that they did put in Super Metroid is great for the time, but being spoiled by later games in the franchise, it's a good map. It's just not great. So. And Eamon's here. What's up, Eamon? Oh, from that from one stream to the next. What's up, Eamon? Good to see you. Spaceship does require a rhythm, just like in the Game Boy game, though it's still better than the OG version. Yeah, was the space? Yeah, Spaceship wasn't in the original, although there was a screw attack, but Metroid 2 did have the space jump, and it was very similar. Yeah, the space jump in Metroid 2 was also very, very finicky. So, yeah, so that is kind of the high level of my issues with Super Metroid and Metroid Redux. So if you haven't played, if anyone also has some issues with Super Metroid, I recommend the ROM hack of Super Metroid Redux. It fixes all of those almost all those quality of life things. It makes it nearly perfect. So. What about you, Carl? What is there any? Did you have anything that you wanted to comment on Metroid? I know you said you haven't played much, but do you have any input?
No, I have no input because I don't really know what else to say about this game because I've never really played them other than sounds pretty interesting and very well detailed and laid out.
Yeah, it's a good game, and I have if like I needed to if you're like, hey, go get some, work on those achievements in the original game, because I actually played Redux. It has no retro achievements, so I just played it because I made a comment about it in my review, and I'm like, before I post my review, I need to actually play through it so I can say this from a definitive point, because I was like, I read about it, but I hadn't actually played it, so I made a quick run through just to make sure, and yes, it did live up to everything that I was expecting it to be. But yeah, if it's like, hey, go work on some more of those Super Metroid achievements, I'd be happy to. It's just it's just like, I wish I could do this in the Redux version, because it, in my opinion, it's better.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, I understand.
All right, what do you have for us tonight first?
Well, the first game I'll talk about, and it's more so I kind of wanted to get into the series, so I needed a new lay in bed and just relax kind of game to kind of wind down, so I can get something done. And I decided to check out a game series that I've been wanting to try for a very long time, and I started Professor Layton and the Strange Village. So it also goes by the Curious Village in the proper English name.
Oh, yeah, like depending on what region you're in.
Yeah. So I started playing this game last night, and for people who don't know what this game is, it's made by Level 5, and Level 5 is kind of known for other games like Ni no Kuni,
I've heard of that
White
one.
Knight Chronicles. They've done a lot of JRPGs and stuff like that. But this is more like think of anime storyline of a very smart British professor and his assistant going around solving mysteries, and that kind of like a Sherlock Holmes, I guess you can say.
Okay.
And on top of that too, it's got a lot of brain teaser puzzles and stuff like that.
Oh, I forgot to mention this. Obviously, Super Metroid is a Super Nintendo game. What platform is this Professor Layton game?
It is originally on the DS, and it's only on the DS.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think he does get later installments on the 3DS. There is an anime. There is a spin-off game on the Switch, and they are currently working on a sequel for the Switch 2 as well. But on top of that too, there was also a crossover game as well with Phoenix Wright. And that's how I
heard about that one.
Yeah. So that's how I first came across the Professor Layton thing, was just because I'm a big Phoenix Wright guy. So I'm like, what's this crossover and what's Professor Layton? So I decided to go, and I've been slowly picking them up because they've been relatively cheap, but some of them have are a little pricier, especially the later they go, because it seems like towards the end of the life cycle, it seems everything is shorter printed. So they just ask you how to do like simple like brain teasers and stuff like that, and you got to use the stylus to kind of, write out your answers, write out your names, measure stuff and everything. And it's just a really fun kind of just, simple brain teaser game. There's not really too much to it I can say right now, other than this story kind of kicks off with like a very stereotypical, wealthy man dies and leaves money to, his family. And it was just more so like, well, now you're hired by the late husband's wife, and you're trying to figure out how to get this super expensive fortune, and everything will basically go to that person if you can figure it out. So I don't know. It's very charming so far. I was more impressed by the cutscenes are fully voice acted, especially for the DS. That's very rare.
I haven't played a lot of DS games, but I was gonna say voice acting in a DS game, that does seem surprising.
Yeah, and it's not bad or really like badly pixelated or stuff. Like the DS wasn't a super underpowered machine, but even still, like a lot of games that I played in particular, they weren't exactly putting a lot of voice lines into it. So, but this is also a visual novel more than anything else. Like I said, it's more in line with Brain Age meets like a fun anime story.
Okay.
So I think even on the game box itself, it advertises 160 puzzles that you have to solve, and not all of them are going to be puzzles that you have to actually do to advance the story. So like over here, so like it says puzzle 6. So what will happen is like you have to go up to like random strangers, and then you can talk to them, and then they'll give you like a test like you see on the screen here. So you have to figure out like, okay, what's the proper weight of something? Okay, so like the first one is like the hat. So it's like the brim of the hat and the length of the hat are the same width and same length. So which hat is it? And you gotta try to figure out which one it is by eyeballing it and stuff, such like that. They also have a hint system as well.
Okay.
So if you get stuck on something, so if you see you get every time you get one right, where it says pick hearts, you'll get like X amount of pick hearts, and that'll allow you to basically use them to buy hints if you get stuck on a puzzle.
Okay.
So I've been like I said, very nice and charming little game. Very, very early on in it. Don't really have much to say on it other than, so far, very charming. Can't wait to play more of it.
It looks like it's got a very pretty art style.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've never played any of the Professor Layton or what's the other one you mentioned that had
Phoenix Wright.
Phoenix Wright, yeah. I know those are like popular franchises, but I've never. And I think those are like the DS was kind of like their stomping grounds. Like a lot of those Professor Layton and Phoenix Wright games were on the DS or on handhelds in particular.
Yeah, the original Phoenix Wright games were Game Boy Advance games in Japan, and then when they ported them, they just ported them over to the DS over here in the States.
Okay.
And Professor Layton is also just I think he was just a DS game here, and that was his debut generation. But yeah, like I said, I can't wait to play more of these. Like I said, I'm a big fan of all the Phoenix Wright games, and if you have a Switch or an Xbox or a PlayStation, those are all on modern consoles now, so you can play the Phoenix Wright series from start to finish now. So, but we're not talking about Phoenix Wright. Yeah, that's all I really got to say about this game. Very charming, very fun. If you're looking for a nice, relaxing, brain teaser game, I would say check this game out.
I do like my puzzle games, so maybe I'll give this a shot someday. It does have retro achievement. I typed in Layton in retro on the retro achievement website, and this was the first game that popped up.
Yeah, I think he has 4 or 5 mainline entries on the DS and 1 or 2 on the 3DS.
Let's see here. On the DS, I see Curious Village, Diabolical Box, Unwound Future, Last Spectre. Oh, and then the crossover with Phoenix Wright. Oh, that's a 3DS game.
Yeah, that's a 3DS game.
Okay.
And then there's like an Azure something and one other one. I think those 2 are 3DS games.
Oh, they must just not have those ones listed here because 3DS doesn't have support. So only some of the 3DS games are listed. Okay.
Yeah, because I have those ones. Well, I'm missing one. The last one, the Spectre one you said? That's the one I'm missing.
Okay. Yeah, those first 4 that I mentioned, those were all DS games.
Yeah, I got the first 3. I need the Spectre one and both 3DS ones.
Okay. So about because it doesn't look like it's a terribly long game. It looks it says it's about 10 hours to beat. how far would you say that you are into it so far?
Oh, probably just an hour. Like I said,
Okay.
I've just been
started.
using it as like the I'm laying in bed kind of game. I'm just trying to
Going to bed game.
just like have my mind kind of like, figure out what's going on here and just give myself a nice little brain teaser before bed.
Oh, I remember having that puzzle we just saw there. We had to get like all the wolves and the chickens across the river. I remember because I used to love like getting like those type of logic puzzles. Like someone's like, all right, you have this many here, and these are the stipulations. Like, what's the solution to get everyone across the bridge in under 3 trips or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
I love that kind of stuff. So, yeah, this is probably right up my alley.
Yeah, it's a really good. Like I said, if you don't want to play Brain Age or something like that, and you want to have something else that will give you a little bit of a more mental, push, I'd say give this one a try.
That reminded me of a comic, a short little like 2 or 3 panel comic strip I saw one time. I don't remember if it was a Stone Tossers or something else, but it had a guy like they were like on paper like logic puzzles. And he said something like, I love being mentally challenged. And the guy's like, I'm glad you've come to terms with it. So, all right, cool. Yeah, I had heard of Professor Layton, but I had no idea like what these games actually were. So I am intrigued.
Yeah, little brain teaser puzzle games. That's the best way to say it.
All right, cool. All right. Let's see here. Okay, for my next one, let's see if it'll be a little more cooperative. So this was this game I played. Let's see here, because that was Super Nintendo. So this is actually a modern game on modern hardware. I played on my Series X, although I think it was originally an Xbox One game. And the reason why I played this was because on True Achievements, every month they have there's 3 targets you can join. And it's like, get X number of achievements or X amount of gamer score that meet these criteria. Like get, 10 achievements in racing games, or get 500 gamer score in games that start with the letter R, or so, it changes every month by month. And so for August, one of the challenges, one of the targets was get like 10 achievements or so in a stealth game. And almost all of the stealth games I've played, or at least that have the stealth genre on them, I've gotten all the achievements in, because it's basically like all the Assassin's Creed games count. I've done I've 100%ed all of them up through Unity, and I have like 4 achievements left in Syndicate, but they're all like basically they glitched on me, and I got to do another playthrough, and they're all like right at the end of the game. So I was like, I'm not going to do that. So I was looking through what stealth games qualify. I'm like, oh, that's perfect. I've been wanting to play this game for a little bit. It's not terribly long, and it's a stealth game, and it's a not technically, but I say it is a movie tie-in game, and it's a really good movie tie-in game, and that is Terminator Resistance. So the reason why I played it is because it counts as a stealth game on True Achievements. So, and it says it's like an 8 to 10 hour completion. I played it very methodically and very slowly, so I think it took me a little under 20 hours, but I enjoyed it. Not quite to the level I was expecting to enjoy it, but there's a separate version, because there's the original one, and then a year or 2 later they released the complete edition, which I think that one was a Series X only, so it looks better and it has some more content. I guess they released because the original game didn't have any DLC, at least that I know of, but this one has kind of like a separate DLC campaign on it, so it has some additional content that I haven't played yet. So when I get around to playing that one, part of the game I will have already played through, and I'll be able to get through it a lot faster. But then there'll be another section of the game that I haven't actually played yet, and I look forward to playing it again, because it was enjoyable. But let's see. I was trying to pull up a perfect. Let's see if this one loads. So Terminator Resistance is, like I said, it's not technically a tie-in game, but it kind of is, because it has the Fallout lockpicking mechanic. Elder Scrolls. The lockpick is exactly the same as in like Skyrim, but it only takes into account Terminators 1 and 2, the movies. The rest of the Terminator franchise movies don't exist, which I think was the right way to go, because I liked Terminator 3, but I wouldn't say it was great. Terminator 1 and 2, those movies are fantastic, though. And I think Terminator 2 is one of the greatest sequels of all time, and also one of the greatest action movies. I'm partial to Terminator 2, but Terminator 1 is also an excellent movie, and I love it. I just like Terminator 2 more.
Yeah.
But it only takes Terminators 1 and 2 into account and disregards the other movies. And after I beat the game, I was like, I'm in the Terminator mood right now. So I actually watched Terminator 1 and 2 over the last couple of days. I don't really watch movies that much anymore because I'd rather be playing games, but it really got me into the spirit. So I watched both Terminators 1 and 2 over the course of like 2 days. Because normally when I watch a movie, I watch it like 30-minute increments. So it takes me like 3 or 4 days to get through a movie. And I watched them both over 2 days. It's great to go and watch them again because those are great movies. I haven't watched them in a long time. But anyways, it takes place in 2029. I want to say it takes place 30 years after Judgment Day, which for anyone who's not familiar with Terminator, that is when the nuclear holocaust happened, and basically half the world's population was wiped out because Skynet's trying to kill all the humans, because that's when it became self-aware. This takes place 30 years later, so the war with the machines has been going on forever. There's runes everywhere, and you have to sneak around and find the bases of the Resistance. And you play as character Jacob Rivers, and the game starts off with a Terminator basically wiped out your entire like platoon, and you're the only survivor. And so you're traveling, and it was I think he was stationed in like San Francisco area, so now he's headed down to Southern California to try and meet up with another like group of the Resistance fighters who are down in like LA area, because some of the levels take place in like Pasadena and downtown LA and stuff. And so you're trying to reconnect with the Resistance, and then you go on, you get reconnected with them, and then you meet up with who becomes your commanding officer, and you get sent on all these missions. And how the game plays is it's kind of like you have a level, and then you have the in-between levels there's like no enemies or anything. You're just like back at your base, because the first couple levels you go back to the hideout, and then you move. Once you meet up with the Resistance, the in-between levels, you go back to the Resistance base, and that's where you can talk to NPCs, get your missions. And some of your friendly NPCs are like, hey, when you're out there, if you could find this, I could really use it. So you have some of these side quests when you're out on your missions, and you want to look for these things to bring it back to them. You get XP for it, a lot of XP. I definitely, if you end up playing it, do the side missions, because every one of them will give you lots of XP. And cool. the XP. Every time you level up, you get a point to apply towards your skill tree, and there's like nine skill trees that you can put points into. And it is possible, at least I'm almost positive it's fully possible, to max them all out, but not just through XP. If you were only use the XP you get from completing missions, there is a level cap of a level cap is either 28 or 30. I don't remember. But there are, kind of like in Skyrim or Oblivion, there are like skill books hidden around in some of the missions, which will just immediately give you a skill point. So if you find all of those skill books plus hit the level cap, you should be able to have enough to max out all of your skills. I was 1 skill point short, so I think I just missed one of the skill books. Okay. I'm not 100% sure, but because I was very thorough, but I probably missed one. I don't think that they would have. It's like I think the way they would have structured it would be either you have to pick and choose, and you won't even get close to maxing out everything, or you can max out everything, but you have to find everything. And since I was only missing 1 skill point, I'm almost positive that I missed one of the skill books. But so there are lots of different types of machines that you come across. You start out with just standard projectile weapons like a pistol, shotgun, and like M16 or they're not called M16. They're just like pistol, assault rifle, shotgun. They don't have like their technical like names of what the actual guns are in real life. But as you progress, you'll get some of the plasma weapons, because the projectile weapons like these will do no damage to the Terminators. You can only damage them with like the plasma weapons. So the first few levels that you encounter the Terminators is freaking scary, because all you have are projectile weapons. So you literally cannot harm them at all. So you're just like sneaking around and hoping that they don't see you the whole time. And it was kind of nerve-wracking. But once you get later on in the game, you get some of the better weapons and some of the plasma weapons, you're kind of like mowing them down. The last level, I won't like get into the story about it, but the last level was really epic, because it's you and like all of your squad like assaulting a Skynet like stronghold, and you're just like, there's tons of machines and you're mowing them down, and then your guys are also dropping as well, and it was really cool. And you have support from this one robot that's been reprogrammed to fight for you, and it was really cool. So the last level was really epic, and it ties into Terminator 1 and 2. So after playing this, that's why I was like, I gotta go rewatch the movies again. And it was cool rewatching the movies, because some of the things that are just like blink and you'll miss it references in the movies, like a name will get mentioned like one time and that's it, and that's like one of the characters that are in this game. So it's kind of cool how it tied it all together. But like I was saying, so between each level, you're just like in your base and talking to NPCs. You can sell stuff that you've scavenged and buy stuff from you make trades and stuff and upgrade your equipment. And then when you're out in these levels, it's not linear. It's like these small open world maps, and you have points of like where all these side missions are. So if you wanted to, you could just beeline it straight for the main objective and complete the main objective and be in and out pretty quickly. I didn't do that. Like I said, I went slowly, and I completed like all the side objectives. So like each one of these open world levels took me like an hour and a half up to 2 hours to complete one level, because they're open and there's a lot of robots. So and I basically my objective was to like kill everything, because you also get XP for defeating the robots. So the more you kill, the more XP you get as well. So I was very thorough, but you don't have to play it that way if you don't want to. It's just I would recommend it, because getting some of those skill upgrades makes the game a lot easier. So anything else? Trying to think of anything. There are a few choices that you can make that affect the outcome of the game, so be aware of that. So the next time I play through the game, I will make some of those opposite choices, because I would say I got the good ending, but a bunch of my NPCs ended up dying, and I was like, I was warned about this, and I was like, nah, it's not going to matter. And then sure enough, it mattered. So I was like, next time I do it, I'm going to make these other opposite choices, and hopefully I'll be able to, those NPCs that I came to, bond with over the course of the game, hopefully they'll survive this time. The one thing that and part of the reason why it took me like half the game to really kind of get a feel for the game's AI and how exactly it worked, because I figured, these are super advanced robots. Like as soon as like I'm detected, like everybody on the map is going to know where I am. Fortunately, that's not the case. They are not interlinked to each other like through the internet. They are the only time you'll attract the attention of another one is if like they see you fighting another one. But you can like blow stuff up, and if they're far enough away, it won't draw their aggro. So it is pretty lenient on that. So once I kind of got a feel for that, I did get a lot more aggressive, and I was able to go through the game faster, because like the early part of the game, I was going super slow and like being super stealthy, because like I can't even take out one of these Terminators, much less if the whole map descends on me at one time. You don't really have to worry about that because they aren't interlinked, and you can get in a fight with one of them, and none of the other ones are going to know that you got in a fight with them unless they're close enough to actually like see it happen. So fortunately, otherwise the game I think would be a bit too hard. So that's probably why they didn't do it. But yeah, if you are a fan of the Terminator movies, I would recommend this as like a good addendum to the movies because it ties in quite well. So, oh, that was the other thing I was going to say. Is Terminator 3, the movie. I don't think it was a great movie, but I did enjoy it. And Terminator Salvation, which is the one that actually takes place in this time frame, like after Judgment Day, I would say it got derided, but I always really liked that movie. I haven't gotten back to watching that one, but I am going to watch Terminator 3 and Terminator Resistance. I'm not going to bother watching Genesis or Dark Fate. But since I'm in the Terminator mood, I'm going to get back. I am going to continue on with the movies with Terminator 3 and Salvation. And I'm also going to rewatch Terminator Sarah Connor Chronicles because I watched that when it aired way back in the day. But I don't know if I ever actually finished it. And I only vaguely remember it, just like barely. I just remember liking it, and like pretty much everyone else liked it as well. And I was doing some Googling, and people are like, oh no, that's what it was. When I was looking at this game in the Xbox store, I was looking at some of the reviews, and one of the reviews I remember saying was something along the lines of like, this Terminators 1 and 2 and Sarah Connor Chronicles are the only thing that count as real Terminator. So it's like, I got to go back and watch that as well. So I will be rewatching the Sarah Connor Chronicles in the near future as well. But anything else I want to mention? It does, you can see the, it's kind of got that Resident Evil 4 like inventory system where each item takes up a certain number of slots and you only have a certain number of slots to work with. So sometimes it's like, oh, I want to get that advanced gun. Oh, that's one of the other things. Like some of the plasma guns, you can't just pick up and use them. Your weapon skill has to be high enough to be able to use the plasma weapons. So that's one of the important ones you want to upgrade, because before that you'll come across them, but you haven't even gotten far enough in the game to get that skill yet. So you're still running around with just projectile weapons and you're having to sneak around Terminators. But
Yeah.
you can defeat them because there are like turrets and stuff around that you can hack. And you can have the turrets take out some of the Terminators for you. That's always, I do recommend the hacking skill as well, because the turrets are like, they're like super overpowered. They'll like wipe out almost everything before they get destroyed. So, and they're pretty easy to hack for the most part. So you can take out some of the Terminators before you're even able to use those weapons. Like, oh, I want to take that weapon, so maybe I can use it later or sell it. But, I don't have enough space in my inventory. So you got to do that inventory management game. And then there also has crafting, very similar to a lot of crafting games, or games that have crafting in them. So you can craft. There's tons of items laying around, like lock picks and health packs and stuff. And if you have the resources, you can craft those as well. But you can only craft those at crafting stations, so you can't just like pause the game and craft in the middle of battle. But you can pause the game and no, you can't use them from the menu either. You have to actually like use it like in the game, like while you're playing real time. So when you're in combat, if you want to use a health pack, you got to make sure you have a few seconds for the animation to play out. I quite enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to playing through it again when I get to the complete edition at some point and getting to see what the DLC, what essentially is the DLC, and a slight new storyline that adds on to the game. So
yeah, wasn't this also made by the people who made the RoboCop game as well?
Yes, this was by Teon, who did RoboCop, which I also have RoboCop. I haven't played it yet, but I'll probably be playing it in the near future. This was like I said, it's not technically a movie tie-in game, but I would say it is because it goes by the lore of the first two movies, and I would say it's a great movie tie-in game.
Yeah, it looks good. It's definitely one I want to get to on the list. It definitely sounds like it does suffer from double A, little jank to it.
Yeah, the AI wasn't great, but I attributed that to a lot of the robots you fight and stuff are like, they're like dumb robots. And that's one of the things I picked up on that I never really realized in the movies before is, or at least specifically in Terminator 2, is the Terminator that Arnold is in Terminator 2. It says he's a learning computer. He's the first one that was actually able to learn. All the other ones are like dumb robots where they just have like pre-programmed like orders, and they just carry out the orders. They can't think for themselves. And Arnold was the first one that could think for itself, and that actually comes to play in the game. And I also attributed why some of these robots are so dumb is because they can't think for themselves. They're not smart. They're not intelligent. Like Arnold's T-800 was in Terminator 2. Oh, that was the one thing that was a bit of a that kind of threw me off a little bit when it comes to the lore wise, is because I was like, I hadn't watched the Terminator movies in a long time, and I was like, I could swear that it's not showing on here properly, but we just got a raid from I disappeared. I think it was Mr. Cage Gaming. I saw RC something, so I'm sorry I couldn't see it because it didn't show up. I had to go to my other screen and disappeared too quick. So I appreciate the raid over on Twitch. So thank you, whoever that was. If you want to put it in chat to let me know.
Yeah, it's Cade.
It was Mr. Cage Gaming.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, appreciate the raid and welcome. So what I was saying was that when I was like, I haven't watched the movies in a long time, but I could swear that Arnold was a T-800. That was the model that he was. And
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and after rewatching the movie, I was correct. He is a T-800. And in the game, when you're fighting the robots, it tells you, you always see a health bar at the top of the screen. It tells you like what model the robot is. So like that one, as soon as it gets within range, it'll say like aerial drone or whatever that one is called. And as you're fighting the different Terminators, it says something drone, scout drone. So when you're fighting the Terminators, it'll tell you like this is a T-800, this is a T-825, this is a T-850 or whatever. It tells you the different model numbers. And what I didn't get was why are there you're mowing down T-800s like crazy in this game. But it's like if Arnold's T-800 in Terminator 2 is so much more advanced, why is it still a T-800? Shouldn't these models I'd be fighting be like a T-700 or a T-600? Because in Terminator 1, there was a line that Kyle Reese mentioned about the first ones that were trying to infiltrate had rubber skin. They were easy to spot. They were T-600 or something. These ones are T like 825s or 850s, and they don't even have any skin. They're just the metal endoskeleton. But you're fighting this like supposedly more advanced version. So I think they should have lowered the numbers on them. So like the Terminators that you're fighting are like T-400s or T-500s or something. It would have made more sense to the lore. So maybe there's something that I'm missing, but that was like the one thing that kind of threw me for a loop is like Arnold's Terminator and Terminator 2 is way more advanced than these ones. So why is he a lower model number? So I didn't get that. But maybe there's something that I missed. But yes, that was just the one little like lore thing that kind of threw me for a little bit of a loop. So, all right. So I was on a bit of a rant there, so I was kind of ignoring chat, but I saw Ariel came in here. What's up, Ariel? Good to see you. Good evening. It says Terminator sucks. No, it doesn't. Terminator's awesome. I know she's always throwing shade. I'm always pumping up Mario. 1993 Super Mario Brothers put it to shame. No. T3 and Salvation are decent movies. I agree, dude. I've seen you over in another chat, but I don't know what that is, but you with the Clippy avatar, it's like _FL5RN. I think you go by Dash. So welcome. Good to see you. Which I both because LA would have been a radio. That is another thing that I forgot to mention that is it has been 30 years since the nukes have fallen, but I think there would still be radioactivity. I don't really know much about like the chemistry of nuclear weapons, but I would think that it would still be a nuclear wasteland for radioactivity and stuff, but I don't know like what the decay is of the half-life of those atoms and whatnot. So maybe they would have decayed by now. I don't know, but you wouldn't really be able to have much of a game in downtown. I guess they could set it in other places.
Thinking too hard. Just have fun with it.
Exactly. It's like, we want to have some stuff going on in like downtown LA, and you can see all the blowing up buildings and stuff. So it makes sense for a gameplay standpoint. Whether that's accurate to how nuclear fallout actually works and decays, I have no idea. So don't listen to him. Carl Neo doesn't know what he's talking about unless he's finally coming out of the closet and stating as a fact that Mario, he's a Mario fan because of the red hat, where he's trying to cover up with lies. Neo doesn't like changeling games confirmed. I I don't know that I've really played any where you're a changeling of some kind. I wouldn't be opposed to it. I don't know what that was specifically in reference to.
I don't know either.
But yeah, dude. So at this point, I want some AA jank. Yeah, usually AA jank is good jank. And hey, Demi Bacchus, you haven't seen you in a while. Welcome. Oh, Demi came over from the cage raid. Well, welcome. And prototype. Yeah, there is. Yeah, someone in chat with another clippy. And the water area would have been clean. Water area would have been cleaned after 30 years, but some of the other things would have taken longer. Why does it have to be a large scale city? Why? I don't know, but it was an enjoyable game, and I recommend
It's easier to have a big environment to stealth around. I mean, it's kind of hard to do that in the countryside or even the suburbs, for that matter.
And it makes for a more interesting map as well. If you're not, just in the middle of, just open plains, it's kind of a boring setting. So, this game often goes on sale. I think I picked it up for like $10 when I bought it a while back. Let's see here. It is on Xbox. It's currently on sale for $8 right now, down from $40. So it might, let me pull it up on Steam real quick here as well and see if it happens to be on sale on Steam. But yeah, on Xbox it's currently $8, so it goes on sale for really cheap. So for $8, I'd definitely say pick it up. Terminator.
Yeah, that's a good price.
Oh, it is currently also on Steam for $8 at the moment as well. Terminator 2D No Fate. I really want to play that game, but even at 25% off, it's still not a big enough discount because it's a pretty short game. But I'm looking forward to playing that game. So yeah, I would recommend go pick it up for $8. That's a steal. It's a good game. So boring setting. Apparently, you've never been cow tipping. I have not.
Or wouldn't be any cows in the apocalypse.
Yeah, there are no livestock. There are rats, though. I think that's what is a lot of people's diets is rats.
So, I would assume so. That would be like your source of protein, mostly.
Yeah. And Eamon says there's factually yet very entertaining nuclear engineer on YouTube. I'd recommend to Neil. I'll drop it in the Shell channel. Yeah, go for it. I do love learning like people who like take things like from video games or pop culture and applying like real life science to them, and like this is how it would actually be in real life. Like I love that kind of stuff. So go for it.
That's a random thing to just bring up, but okay.
Any last thoughts on Terminator just in general?
I don't really care for Terminator. Never been a huge fan of the series. I think the coolest part was no, actually, no, I'm mixing it up with a different series. So yeah, no. Like I said, there are fans for it. Never really cared for it too much. The Terminator show at Universal, I guess, was cool.
Oh yeah, the like it mixes like live action with the screen. I've seen that one before. That was cool. Long time ago, probably like when I was in high school.
Yeah, it's a concept that's been done. I think just the Matrix is cooler. If I had to do with this AI taking over the world kind of deal.
I agree. But yeah, playing through this and artificial intelligence taking over the world and wiping us all out. It's like, and we have all these companies like racing to make the better AI. It's like, did you learn nothing from the Matrix and Terminator?
No.
Seems like it's only a matter of time until one of these becomes reality.
That's what they say. Or it's like eventually you'll get into that whole, well, the AI are like the Halo AIs.
Yes. That I'm much more on board with that. So, one last little tidbit that I picked up from the movie that I had never noticed before. I don't remember if it was actually in the movie or in the game, but I think no, it was in Terminator 2, but I just never picked up on this little point. Is that Skynet didn't launch nukes at us? It launched nukes at Russia so that Russia would retaliate and blow us up, blowing up more people in the process. So smart move on their part, on Skynet's part.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, what do you have for us next?
The next game that I've been playing a lot more, and it's on the PlayStation 3, and that is the good old Yakuza Dead Souls. That's what I've been playing a lot more of.
Okay. PS3. Yeah, you mentioned this game, I think on Party Chat the other night, and I had never even heard of, I don't follow the Yakuza games. I had never even heard of this Dead Souls game. So is it like the other Yakuza games? Or is it like a spin-off? How does it play?
It's a spin-off. It's 100% a spin-off. So The Yakuza games are more action RPGs or brawlers. Most people don't want to admit they're RPGs, but they fit that category. So you're kind of just running around, just like fighting random gangs and having big boss fights of with other Yakuza members or police chiefs or all this other crazy stuff. Uh, you know, Yakuza Dead Souls is a third-person shooter. So basically, you kind of switch between the four main protagonists throughout the game, and well, three protagonists. So Akiyama here is one of them. Kiryu makes an appearance. Majima, which is everyone's best boy,
He's
and
the eye patch guy, right?
yeah, he's the pirate captain in the new one.
Nope. In the Yakuza Pirates in Hawaii, right?
Yes, and then
I know
I
you're a
forget
big fan of that one.
I forget the guy's name too, but he was the main antagonist in the second one. But he appears in this game, and this is just over the top. So there's a zombie outbreak that just hits the red light district of Tokyo. And the government's special defense force basically quarantines part of the city. So the premise to this game is you got to go in and out of like the quarantine zones, and you still kind of have the Yakuza wackiness that is all in there. So you can still do like the karaoke, go to hot springs, and go to arcades and stuff. But there's also a giant zombie apocalypse that's like happening in just random parts of the city. So you go in there and you get basically unlimited ammo on your guns, except for a couple of the other ones that are just like specialty guns, so like a shotgun or a machine gun or something like that you'll get. And you just basically mow down wave after wave of zombies. And you can tell that they took some inspiration for some of their zombies from other media. So there's this one character that is a female zombie, and she was like a call girl or a cabaret girl, and she like screams and she'll bring more zombies towards you. There's like another zombie who's called the Monkey Boy, and he's basically a skateboarder guy who kind of just like runs at you, will drop kick you, try to bite you, but he's pretty weak. And then there's like meatheads, they're called, and they just look like the tanks from Left 4 Dead, and you have to actually shoot them in the head, but they're not too terrible. Overall, this game so far has just got that same Yakuza feel and wackiness. So I ran into a submission where you had to go into the infective zone, and what happens is it's like every horror movie stereotype for people in horror movies is going on there. So it's like, well, you got the woman who's like super religious and she's like saying the end is nigh, and then like the super rich guy who just wants to buy his way out of it. And then it's like the young horny couple that wants to get it on in the middle of a zombie apocalypse. Like it's just pure over the top Yakuza goodness. And while I was doing more research for my PlayStation 3 video, there's over the top boss fights as well that you're going to get into with special zombies and stuff like that. And you basically run up a giant zombie kill counter. So I think right now I'm at 2,500 zombies killed in my current playthrough.
Okay, nice.
So I want to see if I could eliminate the entire population of Tokyo and go from there.
Is there a trophy for that?
I wonder if there's a trophy for that. I know that there are trophies. I haven't spoiled all of them for me, but a lot of them are tied to completing missions. Obviously, they do have the worst trophy in the world that everyone hates, and that is the win a game of mahjong. So hell yeah, we're never gonna platinum this game because I don't understand mahjong. I'm convinced it's an op.
Understand it a little bit because I was playing it while I was in Peru to keep my achievement streak alive on my phone. But it's tile matching, but how the rules I still don't understand.
Yeah, it's like whose line is it anyway? The rules don't matter, and
the points are made up, and
the points are made up and they don't matter.
Yeah, I love that show.
No, yeah, but it's just so different. It's also one of my biggest problems is I still hate playing with the PlayStation 3. All their games feel very loose. I don't know why. It's just something about the PlayStation 3 controller that just is too floaty for me. You still have that in this game. You have a first-person advantage mode, so you can aim better. But even then, it's kind of like I'll aim, and then Akiyama will just like look to the complete opposite direction, and I'm like, no, why are you doing that? The zombies are in front of you.
It seems kind of from the little bit that we saw there from a moment ago. You're not like it's not like a first or third person shooter. It seems almost more like Resident Evil, where you're kind of just looking in their direction and hoping that it hits them.
Yeah, I would classify this more as a third person shooter. There is
Is there a
like
targeting reticle?
it's not there's no target reticle, but if you press L1, it will aim onto the zombies and then it like auto locks on.
Okay.
Yeah, because like
kind of like the aiming in Crackdown, maybe a little bit.
Yeah, this game is very janky. You know, I want like the other Yakuza games you could tell were made better. But I feel like this one was just really just a pure spin-off game. It was more so like the question was like, you know the old saying is just because you can doesn't mean you should. That feels like that this game was that idea. It was like we can do it.
Yeah, it's like Jurassic Park. It's like they were so preoccupied with whether they could do it, they never stopped to think of whether they should.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, I don't hate it so far. I thought I was gonna not like it as much more, but the more I'm playing it, the more I'm just enjoying it. There's just funny Yakuza side stories that you know and love from the series. One of them is basically like a group of horny dudes want to go into the quarantine zone because on like their equivalent of Twitter, there's a girl saying like, "Oh, zombies ripped off all my clothes. Come save me, boys." And like you just have to lead this like whole army of like just dudes who are trying to score. It's like a Beavis and Butthead episode. That's what it feels like. And then you get to the final thing, and it's just some dude that's like some random naked dude. He was like, "Yeah, I'm not a girl. I just wanted to be saved."
They got catfished.
And they're like, "Well, shoot." And then the story ends where it's like, "There's another girl." And it's like, it's probably a guy. You're like, you never know unless you try. Let's go, boys.
It's like, well, yeah, she's a dude.
So I gotta say, so far I've been liking it. I do think it's kind of more brutal to see zombies in this universe. Because you could get headshots on them, so you could pop all the zombies' heads like they're little balloons.
I did notice that earlier in the gameplay that we're seeing here.
Yeah, they still have all the signature things, but they like reworked them to be heat actions. I also believe this game will never see a port or a remake or any sort of things. I feel like this is just one of those lost media games that once the PlayStation Store shuts down, you won't be able to get again.
Oh, was this digital only?
No, this wasn't digital only, but it was
Hard to
only
find.
on the PlayStation 3. And on top of that, too, it's like super expensive now. It's almost $200 physically.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And I also found out today, too, that the PlayStation 3 store is now completely busted with the search function. So
you can't even find stuff even when you know what you're looking for.
Yeah. So I know somebody else reported that to me on my last video. And I noticed that I had that issue too, but I thought it was just my Wi-Fi acting up. But no, it's still an issue. So I'm having another friend of ours check his PlayStation 3 when he's got a chance to see if his search function is also broken because he lives in Japan, obviously. So
that friend.
Yeah. Yes. But besides that, no. I'm liking this game a lot. I think that it still captures the spirit of a Yakuza game very, very well. And I said before, the other game that was trapped on the PlayStation 3 was the Japanese-only Ishin copy of on the PS3 that eventually got ported, where it's the feudal Japan, the samurai era Yakuza game.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, no, that one's pretty fun. It's just basically the cast of the Yakuza games that they're just redone as 1800 samurai.
Okay.
So that's a pretty fun one. And then this one out here, like I said, was the other PlayStation 3 exclusive game that was, which I think is just going to be trapped there. I don't think it's ever getting ported.
Yeah, it seems like it probably doesn't have a lot of a high hope for that happening.
Yeah.
A moment ago, I saw it said co-op headshot. Can you play this in co-op, or is it only co-op with an AI partner?
AI partner, and then you get like specialty moves and stuff like that where they will throw like grenades like you saw. Other ones have like shotgun things. It's more so like, so in the other Yakuza game you have heat action, which is like their big finishing move. Like you could ram someone's head through glass or scrape their face on the asphalt and stuff like that. They brought that here with the guns as well. One of the funny things though, this area that you see him running around in right now, running and gunning. So those areas where you see like the red cross out thing, those
Okay.
cafes and arcades are all still in business inside of this little quarantine area. So you actually could just do a mini game where you fight like a wave of zombies, and then they're like, "Oh, hey, cool, come play some pachinko inside."
It's like
And like,
I have a little bit more important things to do right now.
yeah, but so like the whole staff is like armed with like baseball bats and stuff to keep the zombie out. See, this is a meathead. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah. Okay.
But like the whole staff is armed with like weapons and helmets. But like it's just normal, like everyday activities going on in this quarantine zone of people just playing the Sega arcades, or they're running a sushi shop.
In the
Like
middle
I
of the
said,
zombie apocalypse.
it just doesn't make any sense, but it is quite the funny game so far. But yeah, if you own a PS3, I highly recommend picking this up. And if you're a big Yakuza fan, I think you have to, by law, pick this up just because.
You must. It is required by the Yakuza, or they will hunt you down.
You'll have to cut off your pinky.
So I'm assuming, because I'm seeing like with at least with his pistols, he has unlimited ammo. Just has to reload. But I'm assuming probably for like the heavier weapons, they have limited ammo.
Yeah, I made note of that as well.
Okay.
Yeah, but you pick up like random stuff. You can upgrade your weapons. All the characters you know and love that are well known for your side series, or your sub stories, and that do make some sort of appearance in this game. I believe this takes place in between 4 and 5 in the spinoff timeline. So, yeah, go check that out. Some of the boss fights in this game look insane. That's all I'm gonna say. They remind me of Resident Evil boss fights.
Not that I've played this game and the one I'm about to mention, but it definitely gives me a lot of like Dead Rising vibes. Do you think?
I could see that a little bit. I mean, Yakuza does feel like a little bit of Dead Rising in terms of how you move and fight, but just because they're zombies, it feels more arcadey than that. The time limit in Dead Rising does kind of throw it off. This one doesn't really have like any of that. It's more so like you just have the same Yakuza, formula where you go do sub stories, come into some random wackiness, get a big reward and stuff like that. And I think the new feature in this one is like you build up your whole side character AI partner squad, and you send them to get trained by an American guy who's a soldier. He kind of looks like what was his name in Predator? The black guy who shakes Arnold's hand.
Carl Weathers.
Yeah, he basically is Carl Weathers in this game. He runs a gun shop in downtown Tokyo, and you send all your guys there to kind of train with him.
I'm trying to remember Carl Weathers' character's name in Predator. I don't remember, but
was it Mac? I feel like it was Mac. I don't know if that's right though.
I'm gonna pull it up here. It's like, I know it's not Dutch. That was Arnold.
Yeah,
but yeah, Predator's great movie.
Yeah, I like Predator a lot more than Terminator.
Oh, okay. I prefer Terminator to Predator, but I like Predator a lot.
To be honest with you, Predator is kind of like Dragon Age. There's only one really good one, and then after that, it's just struggling to figure out if you like Predator or not.
Yeah, like Predator 1 is great. I've never seen Predator 2.
Predator 2 is weird. It's like a female Predator, I think, also.
I know it takes place, Danny Glover's the main character, and it takes place like in New York or LA, in the middle of a city.
Yeah.
But the Predators, I didn't like that one, and The Predator was not great. It gets a lot of hate, but I really liked AVP.
Yeah, Alien vs. Predator was good. I saw that in a movie theater with my mom, actually, which is funny.
I saw one in the theater as well. ADP Requiem, though, that movie was terrible.
Yeah, Homecoming, Covenant. Those are terrible movie for
Oh, the
aliens, but those are
aliens.
aliens. Yeah.
I saw Covenant. I've seen the original Alien and Aliens, and I've seen Alien Covenant. No, I've not seen Covenant. I saw Prometheus.
Don't
That's
see
the
Covenant.
other one I saw.
I saw it in theater. I was like, I didn't pay for this ticket, but I want my money back.
So I pulled Carl Weathers up. Apparently, his character's name was Dylan.
Dylan. Okay.
There was Mac. That was the other guy, played by Bill Duke. But
Okay.
so Mac was the other black guy in that movie. I've seen him in some other stuff. I just don't remember where I've seen him.
He was the guy that shaves, right?
Was he in The Rock? Oh, he was in Commando. Which I haven't seen that since like high school. But yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen Predator as well, so I don't remember if he was shaving or not. But anyways.
Yeah, and we're talking about Yakuza right now. But yeah, overall I can't say too much more. I'm almost done with the first chapter of this one, but I've been just doing all the side stories and everything else like that. Just it's a Yakuza game. I get caught up in the best part about the Yakuza games is just going around finding out the wacky side stories that they come up for this game. Some of them are very heartfelt, but some of them are very, very weird. Yeah, here, this is the one I think is based off The Witch.
I was going to say, this reminds me of the Witch from Left 4 Dead.
Yeah.
So I know Yakuza games have a tendency to be very long. I'm assuming since this is a spin-off, it's probably not quite that lengthy, since it's more of a kind of focused like level-based game, I'm assuming.
Yes
or,
and no.
Or is it more of like a contained open world?
Yakuza games are as long as you want them to be or as short as you want them to be.
What is the game in this game? Is it like, you're going through like corridors in point A to point B and you beat that level, then you move on to the next level? Or is it kind of like an open world and you kind of pick where you want to go?
It's an open world, but then it splits off into sections.
Okay.
Yeah. So you could go explore the open world. And then when you have to do certain missions, a lot of them will take you to the quarantine zone, and then you have to beat this special mission inside the quarantine zone, and then it becomes kind of hub-based.
Okay, so I just pulled it up on how long to beat, and it says main story, 12.5 hours. So pretty short, especially for a Yakuza game. But completionist says like 88 hours.
Yeah.
It's like
probably most of that's trying to figure out Mahjong first, and then after that, once you figure it out and actually get lucky, then it becomes only 12 hours to beat.
So, okay. So, you said you just finished chapter 1, I think you said?
Yes.
Do you know how many chapters there are?
Usually there's 13, but I don't know for this one. I haven't looked into it too much. I'm kind of just going more into it blind with a little bit of an idea of what's going on.
Okay. So, all right. Well, can't check its availability on Steam since it's a PS3 exclusive. So, all right. Any last thoughts on Yakuza Dead Souls?
Pick up the series if you haven't played it. It goes on sale quite often. They're very fun. They're charming. Yeah, that's all I can say.
Okay. I think I have, it's not really my franchise. I think I have a number of them just due to like free game giveaways and stuff like that. Let me see. Yep. That's why I have access to like basically all of them, is because of the Steam family I'm a part of. One of the guys in our Steam family is a fan of the franchise. I was like, I swear I remember putting it into my game shelf. That's why. So, all right. Okay. Well, I guess I will get into my last one for tonight. And that is the one that I am currently playing through on stream on Mondays for Metroidvania Monday. I was playing it last night. I'm actually playing it today off stream because I'm just like wrapping up, getting a bunch of items and collectibles. That's kind of boring for streaming. But for Metroidvania Monday, I have been playing through Guns of Fury for the last few weeks. Have you heard of Guns of Fury other than when I mentioned it on Party Chat the other night?
No.
Okay. Are you a fan of Metal Slug?
Yeah.
So Guns of Fury is Metal Slug if it were a Metroidvania. And I've been having a lot of fun with it. Let me see here. No, that's a guide. I don't want a guide. I want like a playthrough video of it. There we go. There's a long play. Yeah, so if you like Metal Slug, you like Metroidvanias, this game should be right up your alley. What was that? Was that one of your puppers?
No, I didn't hear anything.
Okay, I heard this weird like noise. It sounded like it could have been a dog growling. But anyways, so this is. Oh, let me make that full screen. Guns of Fury, as you can see, very, very heavily Metal Slug inspired. And it is a Metroidvania, and I've been having a lot of fun with it. It's it has a lot of because I played a kind of very similar Metroidvania or a few games ago that I was not a big fan of, where you're kind of like this macho man. It's a side-scrolling 2D shoot 'em up Metroidvania sort of game, and that was Blast Brigade. I was not a big fan of that, and I wrote a very long, in-depth review on that game after I beat it on Game Shelf as well. But this does basically everything that I like. All my big gripes with Blast Brigade, because they're very similar games in the stuff I just mentioned. But this one basically does all the things that annoyed me about Blast Brigade. It does them like way better. So not perfect game, but if I'm comparing this to Blast Brigade, I'm having way more fun with this game. But yeah, so you play as what's the character's name?
John Kimball.
Vincent Fury, I think is his name. So it's a great name. So it's very like 80s action movie inspired, like Commando, as we were Predator. Although there are no aliens in this one, you're just fighting like enemy armies and stuff. But probably the closest movie I would relate it to would be Commando. But you get there are a ton of items and collectibles in this game. I don't have it running right now. You know what? I do. I created a spreadsheet so I could mark off the remaining items because it's Metroidvania, so there's obviously a bunch of achievements for collecting all the different various types of items, and so there's like 10 primary weapons. There's like 30 secondary weapons. There's your throwable weapon, which is like grenades or Molotov cocktails, landmines, stuff like that. And there's like 25 of those. There are your melee weapons, and there's about 15 of those between like a knife. You got like brass knuckles, baseball bat, machete, steel pipe, tomahawk, and then there's a bunch of like passive items that you can equip that give you different bonuses. And there's like 35 of those. So there's on top of the like expansions that allow you to hold more weapon ammo. So your primary weapon is what you're going to be using the most of. You have unlimited ammo. There's no like reloads or anything. Your secondary is you do have a limited number of ammo for it. And so if we're looking at the game right here, in the top left, the red bar is your health. The green is your ammo. And depending on what secondary weapon you have equipped, more powerful weapons take more of that bar to fire. So some of your secondary weapons may only it doesn't actually show you the number, but if you were to pause the game, it shows you exactly what your max ammo count is and how much you currently have. So like the first secondary weapon you get was just like a basic like a submachine gun or something, and each time you shoot it takes like 2, so the bar goes down a lot shorter. But some of the later ones are super powerful, and they'll take like huge chunks to get the bar off because they're really expensive to fire because they do so much damage. So that's how the secondary ammo kind of works, and enemies do drop ammo a lot. So the only time I have run out of secondary ammo while just traversing the world a couple of times, but because enemies drop ammo a lot, you're not going to be empty on secondary ammo very often. The only time I've ever like really run out of secondary ammo is during boss fights, because boss fights typically don't drop any secondary ammo. Sometimes they do, but for the most part they don't. And if they do, they only drop a little bit. So that's really the only time I've run out of secondary ammo. And then that number below, where right now it says 40 of 50, is for your throwable weapons, like your throwing knives or your shurikens or your grenades. Have a very similar type of thing. So he has a max of 50, but that doesn't mean you can throw your grenade 50 times. Each one of your throwable weapons takes a different number to throw. So a grenade may take 5, but like a landmine may take 10. So one of them is dynamite, and that one takes like 30. So the more powerful ones do more damage, but they take more of that, more of that ammo. So
right.
But you also get expansions. So like right now, he's like I said, his max is like 50, but I think in my playthrough right now, my max is like 130, I think. So you get expansions that increase how much health you have, how much ammo, like secondary ammo you can carry, how much your throwable weapon how you can have. So you can carry more and more as you go throughout the game. What was the other thing I was just about to mention? The game does a great job of like when you pause it. I wish you would pause it so I could show you, but it gives you tons of information on your pause menu. So it's got because there's like I said, there's achievements for getting all of the different types of weapons, and like each category has an achievement tied to it. So you by getting all your primary weapons, that'll give you one achievement. By getting all your melee weapons, that'll give you another achievement. So in the pause menu, there's also an achievement for filling out 100% of the map. So on the pause menu, there's like 4 statistics. Like I'm currently at like 94% map completion, and I'm at like 86% like unlocking all the weapons, and I'm at like 90% for getting all the expansions, so I can hold more health and ammo and stuff. So it gives you all these different percentages, so you know basically exactly how much, or not exactly how much, but you have a good idea of how much you have left. So the map is better than it was. So I have been having to do a lot of Googling, because a lot of these like items, it's like I have no idea where these things are. It's like I know I need it to get 100%, but I don't know where it is. And the map only shows you like the area. There's nothing like on Metroid games where it shows you like, hey, this room has an item you haven't collected. So the map doesn't show you that, although there is an item that's very late. I just got it this afternoon. It will highlight which rooms have something in them, but it won't show you exactly where in the room they are, because the rooms are they can be rather large and they'll have multiple entrances. So even though you're like, it's in this room, there's a lot of different places it could be. So that is one nice item that helps with the item cleanup, but it doesn't tell you what the item is. So I've been having to look up where a lot of the items are. And a lot of items require other items in order to be able to reach them. And it's like, oh, I know I need this item, but I don't. But it requires this item, which I also don't have. So I got to go find that item first. So I've been doing a lot of backtracking and running around trying to find all the items. I'm not beating the game, but I am trying to get all the rest of the collectibles off stream, so that when I do my next stream on Monday, it'll basically just be the final boss fight. So there are I think there are 13 bosses in total, because the last boss that I just beat on my stream last night was the 12th boss. And looking at the achievements, the next achievement is for beating the game. So I'm pretty sure there's only one more boss, but I still have a bunch of achievements for collecting all the things. Oh, that was one thing that I was going to mention earlier, is I was complaining about it a little bit in game, because the fast travel points are kind of spread out. And there are specific rooms that are fast travel points. You go to it, it's got like a truck, and then you pick which room you want to go to, and then the truck drives off, and it drives to the next fast travel room, which Blast Brigade, that was also one of my issues. Both of these games have an item that you can collect that allows you to fast travel to any save room. the thing that really annoyed me about Blast Brigade is you didn't get that item until like 98, 99% of the way through the game. So it's basically useless by then. I did get that item on stream last night. So getting around to collect the rest of these items has been way, way more quicker. So I'm glad that the true fast travel ability is much earlier in this game than it was in Blast Brigade. So props to this game for getting that at a more reasonable way through the game. So the bosses that you see here, I think this was like the first boss in the game, are very much like Metal Slug bosses at the end of the Metal Slug games. So yeah, and Eamon was in chat last night while I was playing. He's like, this reminds me of, he said one other game, and I'm like, I don't see how this is anything like that game. And he's like, oh, what I meant was Broforce. And I was like, oh, this is, I definitely understand that as well. So it also does feel somewhat like a Broforce game, or Broforce, not a Broforce game, because I don't believe there's more than one of them, but also that has that machismo like cool factor, because I think there's a bunch of like the old 80s action stars like Arnold and Sylvester Stallone and Van Damme. I don't know.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah, Jean-Claude Van Damme. Those characters, I don't know if it's technically them, but you know by looking at the character in Broforce that these are the characters are supposed to be, but they probably couldn't use it for use their names and likenesses for licensing reasons. But that's what they're paying homage to. Kind of a very similar vibe to this one.
Yeah.
And another thing that annoyed the bejesus out of me is in Blast Brigade, when you beat the bosses, you didn't get anything for it other than now you can progress with the story. So props to Guns of Fury, because every time you beat a boss, you do get something. Usually it is a health increase, so it increases your max health. But there, like I said, there are tons of different guns, and a lot of them have different functions, and some of them you need to solve certain puzzles. Lots of different equipable items that you can kind of pick. You don't have like a skill tree or anything, so you can't really pick like your play style, but you have lots of different items that'll either like increase your melee damage or decrease how much ammo it takes to fire secondary weapons. So you do have a bunch of these different items that you can pick that kind of go more towards how you want to play or the weapons you want to use.
Yeah.
My biggest complaint with this game, I was kind of ranting about it on stream last night, because I spent like 2 hours trying to figure out like, where do I go? What is my next objective in the game? And I don't know when it shows up, because at one point there was like nothing on my map saying, hey, this is where you need to go. And then all of a sudden, a little bit later, there was a yellow dot on my map indicating like, hey, this is where you need to go next. And I don't know like what was the like why that wasn't there earlier and now it is. I don't know if it's a time-based thing or what, but it's like it put a yellow dot on my map, like, oh, cool, now I know where I'm supposed to go. So I went there, and I was like, why are you telling me to go here when I don't have the ability to? It's like, I know I need to get up on this ledge, but I don't have the ability to get up there yet. So what it was you have to use your ice gun to freeze the enemy in order to create a stepping stone, so then you can then jump up and reach the ledge. And you've never had to do that before in the game. So it has some of these like really like obscure things in the game that the game has never like implied that you need to do this before. And it is required for story progression. So that kind of really irked me a bit. And I was running into dead end after dead end after dead end, and I would get some new abilities, but it's like, oh, now I've got this new ability. Like, one of the things is climbing gloves, which allow you to climb not all walls, but certain walls that have a certain texture on them. And I would go back to an area. One thing that is nice is the map has those marked quite nicely. So if it has a little C, that means like you need the climbing gloves to get up here. Or if there's a little V, it means there is a door that's locked by an electrical lock. And in order to clear the electrical lock, you have to shoot it with your electricity gun. So the map is pretty nicely marked with, if you need a certain ability to get through this area, it indicates that. But not in the case of freezing this guy, because I've never had to do that before in the game. But there was one point where it's like, oh, I've got the climbing gloves. Let me go to this climbing area and I can climb up that wall and get into the next room. But the very next room has some other ability. It requires some other ability that I don't yet have in order to get to the thing that's hidden in that room. So it's like, why did you lock this room behind climbing gloves when once I have the climbing gloves, I still don't have the required item I need to get the item hidden in that room? If I need the triple jump, just make me require the triple jump to get this room. Don't lock the room behind one ability and then have another ability in that room that I don't have yet. So there's been a lot of cases like that where there's these rooms that I go into now that I've got this ability, but I don't have another ability. And so even though I can make it into that room, I can't actually make it to whatever's hidden in that room. So that's probably my biggest issue with the game, is that's happened quite a few times. So, but yeah, overall, I've really been enjoying my time with the game. It's been a lot of fun. There was one boss that, actually the only boss I played last night, was kind of cheap, but I did finally beat him. It took me quite a few tries, but the bosses in this game have been a lot more manageable than Blast Brigade, because Blast Brigade, those bosses were just like crazy stupid bullet sponges and your guns are so weak. At least in this one you have a variety of different weapons you can pick from and kind of style. Oh, and one of the other things that this game has that Blast Brigade really irked me is this game, even though there's not a lot of them, there are items that you can collect for your inventory and then use them when you want to, like food items that restore various amounts of HP, where Blast Brigade did not have that. So I did have to use that. I try not to use that at all, because I want to try to beat the boss without using any healing items. But that last boss, I had to use a couple healing items because he was just so tough. But at least it has some healing items you can keep in your inventory. That was one of the things that annoyed me about Blast Brigade, is you couldn't do that. So, yeah, overall, I'm really enjoying it. When all is said and done, I'll probably give it like an 8.5 would probably be my guess. But yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with the game, and it is pretty much everything I was expecting it to be. And having played Blast Brigade recently, which was a very similar game, I like this far, far, far more than Blast Brigade. So if you like Metal Slug and you like Metroidvanias, I would say give this game a shot. Just one of the things that's kind of annoying is that there's not a lot of information about this game online. So trying to find some of these items in order to get the 100% is difficult, because there's not a whole lot of information about it out there. But I also had the same issue with Blast Brigade. There was not a lot of information about Blast Brigade out there either. So I had to do a lot of sleuthing of some forum posts and Steam communities and stuff in order to find some of the stuff, because I'm like, where do I find these things? Because the game does not tell you. And like that right there, that's one of those electric doors. So you need the electricity gun in order to open that door. But it is marked on the map very clearly with the V. So that is nice. It's just as I mentioned, you get an item that'll tell you this room has something in it, but it doesn't tell you where in that room it is. So I have almost all of the items and weapons and stuff. So I have like 4 more. So I'm almost there. But there are still a lot of flashing rooms on my map, which I think are those like upgrades for more health or more ammo or more bomb ammo, which is the throwables. So I still have a bunch of items to collect, but I almost have all of the like actual like abilities and the weapons and stuff like that. So there is, like I said, there's a wide variety of weapons. So you can kind of pick which weapons kind of float your boat, so to speak. So I'm gonna have a lot of fun with it, and I will most likely be finishing it on I would say next Monday. I haven't decided whether I'm going to do a Metroidvania Monday next Monday, because next Monday is the last Monday of the month, and I like to do Mass Effect Monday. But I may do both. I may do an early Metroidvania Monday so I can finish this off, because I'm very close to the end. And once there are 5 different endings. I don't know how to do those 5 different endings, but there's an achievement for each one. So I'm gonna have to figure that part out. And then there's an achievement for beating it in New Game Plus. So in order to get the completion, I'm gonna have to do another playthrough of it. But Eamon looked it up while we were on stream last night, and he says that if you like rush through the game, you can do it in about 5 hours. So I'm not going to do that on stream. I'm just going to beat the game before I move on to my next Metroidvania Monday game. But I will finish the game after beating the final boss on stream. I'll finish up the rest of that stuff off stream, and I do plan to get the completion and get all the achievements in it. So, but hey, I see Pop Culture Mechanics here saying, "Evening, gents. Good to see you, Pop Culture. How's it going?" Oh, that's what, right. He said, he originally said, this looks like Brotato. And I'm like, I don't see it. And then he's like, oh, I meant Broforce. I was like, that makes a lot more sense. So the ice gun was pretty funny though. Yeah, he he was there, and he I think he's the one actually like looked it up for me. He's like, you got to go to that room and use the ice gun on the guy. I'm like, are you serious? And then I kind of flipped out on the game for that, because the game never indicated like that was ever something you ever needed to do and just required to complete. So I was kind of upset about that. So yeah, I found it by checking out a guide of all the powers and looked up for the area you'd been blocked on stream. So thank you for that. So I was playing it earlier today, cleaning up a lot of the rest of the remaining items, but I will be beating it. I'm pretty sure I got to the final boss door. I've not gone into the final boss door, but I'm pretty sure I know where the final boss is. So I will be beating the boss on stream whenever my next Metroidvania Monday is, whether it's this upcoming Monday or the Monday after. But yeah, fun game, and I do recommend it.
Well, all right, very good. It looks fun.
So I've always liked the Metal Slug games. I've never really played them because they were mostly arcade games, and I was, kind of at the tail end of the arcade frenzy. I did play and beat, like, got through the whole game of Metal Slug X. I think is the only Metal Slug I've actually played through and beaten in its entirety. And part of that was because it was on Game Pass, and so I panic played that and beat it before it left Game Pass. But I do like the Metal Slug games. I just haven't played very many of them. But I do plan to play more of them in the future. But yeah, this is very very Metal Slug inspired, and I think it plays a great homage to that franchise.
Yeah, I would say so. It looks exactly like a Metal Slug Contra kind of game.
Yeah, a lot like Contra as well, for sure. So, all right. So what is the last one that you got for us tonight?
The last game that I've been playing, and this one I played the most, I'm very close to completing, and I absolutely am surprised at how much I like it, is Splatoon Raiders.
Ah, okay.
So Splatoon Raiders is a single-player version of the Splatoon games that probably most people know and love. They're competitive shooters, third-person shooters, but they're I think from what I know about Splatoon is you want to like paint the area the most with your squid or octolings ink, and that's how they play it. I don't know anything about Splatoon multiplayer. Couldn't tell you to save my life, but that's what I think it is.
But yes, I do know that whoever has like more of the battlefield covered in their colored ink wins at the end, I think. But I do know it's very paint/ink inspired.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that they probably have a lot of that stuff. They have other game types probably too. But like I said, it's because Splatoon is a multiplayer only game, and I don't really like to play multiplayer games on the Switch that much.
Yeah,
if I could avoid it.
Multiplayer in general.
Yeah. So I just kind of avoided it, but I kept seeing people just talking about this game, and I heard that it was like really fun. So I picked it up because I think it was only $40 on Amazon or $50 on Amazon with their discount code.
Oh, is this a maybe you just said it, I missed it. Is this Switch 2 exclusive, or can you play this on Switch 1?
It's Switch 2 only.
Okay. And is it a key card or a full game?
Full game.
On cart. Very nice.
Yeah. So basically the premise of it is that you're trying to get this treasure to save the city, and you encounter a giant storm and it messes up everything. So you play as the mechanic, and the mechanic is, just like however you want to style it. I made mine look like a girl because I was like, oh, this looks pretty fun, just to have like all this like crazy stuff in her hair. So I went with that one. And
okay, so you can kind of choose your character.
Yeah. And when I started playing this, I was just like, oh, this isn't like, super hard, but isn't super like bad either. There's a very diverse range of weapons that you can use. So there's like rolling brushes, paint brushes, umbrellas, machine guns, dual pistols, kind of like grenades, Gatling guns that do a whole bunch of stuff. And you still get the premise of your ink gets thrown down everywhere, and then you transform into a little squid person. and then you can move faster and do more tactics in the like how you see on here on screen. You can move around and flank enemies faster, and then you fight these things called salmonids, and they're just pure nightmare fuel.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that on Party Chat last week.
Yeah, they just come in all sorts of different ranges and sizes. There's like salmonids that are just literally just heads on turrets that shoot death beams at you that go through walls and everything. There's giant ones that lunge at you. There's ones that are basically sharks where they hop out of the ground. There's some that throw grenades. The boss fights are like insane, some of them. So one of them is like a giant flying bird one. He's not that bad, but like the second one is literally just a salmonid train. Like it looks like the hell train. That's the best way to say it, because he pops out of like these fire things. On top of that too, it's just like one head on this weird, serpent-like body with like train, treads on him, and it's so weird. But I think the best way to describe it is like each gameplay is like a different type of level. So there's your standard go to point A, point B, get the treasure map. Then there's deeper raids where you have to kill enemies in a certain time frame, and the enemies are all different. And then there's like the super raids where you have to go through multiple layers and then fight a boss at the end. All of it kind of reminds me a little bit of a Monster Hunter style gameplay. Go to areas, slay big beasts, come back to the thing, get rewards.
Okay.
And on top of that too, you get just basic you get like an ink tank, all right? So each ink tank has their own special ability. So one of them is you can just shoot down like turrets, and there's a bunch of range stuff. So the gadgets that you fire off are just, more rangy. The other one is just basically burst damage. So you can like fly in and just bomb and then just drop a whole bunch of crazy chaos all over the place. And then the other one kind of focuses more on like a hybrid. So you got more like a crowd control kind of deal where you got like big spinning, shurikens around you. And then you can just like run up to them and like do a chop move and that. And as you upgrade your guy a little bit more, you can do more damage. You can do more health. Your gadgets do more damage. And you also get these gadget slots. So each time you want to upgrade your gadgets, you get X amount of space to do it. And you can buy certain types of, upgrades to them that do like special things. So like automatically deploy, do more range damage, do vertical slice instead of a horizontal slice. And you can stack up the multipliers to it. And on top of that too, you can kind of have, differences of, damage output, modifiers, reload speed. It gets more in depth than I think people realize. Because I thought this was going to be a lot more basic, because a lot of Nintendo games do come across as basic, especially if you play Yoshi games. They're very babby mode. But yeah, I was surprised at how deep and kind of complex this game can be. Now, this game does have co-op, but it doesn't have multiplayer. So if you get stuck
I was
going
to ask if it has co-op.
Yeah, so if you get stuck on a raid or something and you need like an extra bit of firepower, you can actually come in there and request for help, kind of like a SOS system. And I'm going to say Monster Hunter because that's what it mostly feels like to me. Like they took the SOS system from Monster Hunter and they brought into this game for people to help people. Now there is a lot of replayability. There's a lot of hidden stuff that you can do in this game as well. So you get these compasses, and the compasses, they'll take you to mini islands or mini dungeons. And when you're in those mini dungeons, you get to do certain events to try to get an extra skill point to level you up more. So they'll lock your weapons and they'll lock your gadgets, and you can only do what those weapons and gadgets are for that level.
Okay, so it's like challenge. You have to do this using this specific equipment.
Yeah, exactly. And on top of that too, after you reach a certain point in the story, they will unlock special challenges, so you could go back and replay the levels again at a higher difficulty as well. So a lot of replayability. I will say that. If you thought this was you can just play through and just breeze through it, I will say that some of the levels if you're not properly leveled or you're not spec'd right, they will be a little bit more challenging for you. There's some where it's just like you go in there and it's designed a certain way for challenges. So if you don't bring a kit right away that matches that level wants you to do, you're gonna fail it right away.
I'm assuming that you like the stuff that you equip. You have to do that like between levels. You can't do that like on the fly.
No, you can't do it on the fly.
Okay.
If you could do it on the fly, this game would be a lot easier. But unfortunately, no, you can't do it.
That makes sense.
And on top of that, too, a lot of those extra challenge levels are timed. So you got to try to beat the challenge within a minute. And if you can't do it within a minute, then you lose and you have to recharge again. Another thing, too, is these 3 characters that you see on screen. They could be your little co-op buddy. So it's like Shiva, Frey, and Big Man. They all have a special, think Overwatch. When you have an ult meter,
okay,
they all have an ult meter that you can bring them with. And there's a little bit of a storyline element to them as well. So the more you use them, they will come back. You have a little talking moment. You unlock more of their history and past. And then on top of that, too, you get the ability to also increase the damage that their ultimate move does. So Shiva does a giant shark, because her clan is basically shark people. Like they tame sharks and everything. So they shoot a giant shark at people. Yeah. Frey, she's her people tame eels. So she just will summon a bunch of eels and they rain down a hellfire of eels on people. And then Big Man over here, he becomes the ult and you just ride him and you can just shoot ink and he just does a bunch of AoE damage and stuff like that. Overall, just kind of fun. They do have this weird underwater gurgle Japanese language, as I like to call it, where it's just not any language that you can understand when they're talking.
It's like the Sims language.
Yeah, kind of. Except, like I said, it just sounds more gurgled and gargled and stuff like that. Like you're talking underwater.
Okay.
So it's pretty cool. To say that this game kind of just caught me off guard, because like I said, no interest in Splatoon. I watched the state of play for it, or the Nintendo Direct, I should say. I got a lot more into it, and yeah, I'm surprised at how deep it is. Also, the relic powers that they're showing up on screen here, those give you also added boosts that are more passive things. So collect more eggs or deal more damage. And also, when you collect eggs, you upgrade your character's tank. And when
your ink tank?
Yeah, your ink tank. And then when you get your ink tank to a high enough level, you get another passive ability. So when you're kind of just riding around in the ink and you go and you're under there for a little bit of time, you charge up a meter and that meter will do something special as well. But pretty interesting story too. Apparently there's some big what's going on with the salmonids kind of deal that we find out later, that there's some big hidden mystery that I don't really want to spoil yet because I'm not done with it. But I am on the final run of this game, and I feel like I just want to beat this game soon and just kind of go back and keep playing this, because there's a lot of challenges that I still haven't beaten because they're just tough. After a certain point, there's just some of them that are just tough, and it's mostly you got to beat them in a certain amount of time tough. So it's artificial tough, which I don't really like, but this one I think it's done just okay. It's just good enough for me not to bitch about it, basically.
Yeah, I think that's what one thing that Eamon and I were talking about on Dark Souls last week is the difference between real difficulty and artificial difficulty.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, dude asked, liked in Armed and Dangerous on the original Xbox. I know of that game. I know nothing about that game. I don't even know what genre it is. Is it a beat 'em up?
It's a third person platform shooter. There's some platforming elements in that. They got a gun where you shoot a shark into the ground, and it's like that scene of Jaws where he just pops out of the ground and he'll eat the enemy soldier in front of you.
Wasn't there a gun like that in one of the Saints Row games? I think there was a shark gun in one of the Saints Row games.
Maybe. I know the dubstep gun was like the big one from
That's another silly one.
Saints Row. They also had like the a grenade where you put a corkscrew in the ground and then you flip the entire map upside down and everyone falls off the map in Armed and Dangerous. Yeah, that game is an acid trip. It doesn't even make any sense. It's the best part about that one is definitely "Death to the Salad Eaters" is still my favorite line from Armed and Dangerous.
Oh, I've heard that before, but I had no idea that was a reference to something.
So in Armed and Dangerous, they get these robot gardeners they reprogram them to be soldiers, but they want to protect shrubs and plants more than humans. And they also are like they hate vegans and they hate vegetarians because all they do is eat plants. So that's
funny.
So their rallying cry is "Death to the Salad Eaters."
So and he says, "Yeah, this is shark gun is what I was referencing." So
yeah,
okay.
I got the reference.
Maybe that was in Armed and Dangerous. I just remember hearing about a shark gun in some game, but I haven't played it.
It is in Armed and Dangerous.
Okay. So it sounds like a gun that would be in Saints Row, but I was probably thinking of the dubstep gun. But
yeah, Saints Row has some over-the-top weapons too. But Armed and Dangerous is a whole new breed.
So it has co-op. Is it couch co-op only, or can you play co-op online, or is it online co-op only?
I think there is a couch co-op option. I'm not 100% sure about that one, but I know for a fact it's online too. Because when you SOS, it brings in people from online to help you out.
Okay, cool. So
yeah,
sounds kind of like the Dark Souls, except instead of them coming to fight you, they're coming to fight with you.
Like I said, that's where I said like the Monster Hunter system. The SOS system was from Monster Hunter directly.
Okay, I haven't played Monster Hunter, so it sounds like it's similar to that. Then, okay,
cool. Yeah.
So, about how much time would you say you have in the game so far, and how far do you think you've gotten?
Like I said, I'm almost at the end. I probably have close to 20 hours, I would say, probably into it.
Okay.
Because I've been playing this game pretty religiously on and off. I have a Switch dock in my bed, so I've been playing this a lot in bed as well. Also goes into that that other video I want to try to work on. Easy to pick up and put down kind of games. This is definitely one of those ones.
Okay. Yes, because these like levels seem like they're pretty short, so it's easy to play for a couple minutes and move on to something else or just be done.
Yeah. It's just one of those games that it kind of respects your time. It gives you enough challenge. It gives you enough of that addicted dopamine hit where you can go back and do all that stuff. But yeah, I like I said, I've been liking it. The enemy design in this game, top notch. I have no complaints about that. These guys are creepy. They're weird. They just fit that mold of like, I just want them dead and I don't want to look at them anymore. Boss fights have been interesting and creative. There is a difficulty option. So there is 3 options. There's a tourist option, which is like the super easy one.
They called it tourist. That's hilarious.
Yes, they did. There's the medium option that I'm playing on, and then there is also a hard difficulty. So if you want to play this game and just check it out, and if you feel like it's too easy, just go back and play it on hard.
Can you switch the difficulty at any time, or do you pick at the beginning?
I think you pick at the beginning only, but I have not bothered to try to change the difficulty. It's never been on my mind because I've been having enough challenge as it is.
Okay.
Where it's just like, yeah, I'm doing a lot of damage to some of these bosses, but I'm also maxing out my kits and I'm redoing levels and doing all that stuff. So I'm playing like how I would play if I was like how I always play stuff. I like doing all the side content. But yeah, that's one of the like tower guys that I'm saying right there. See?
Okay.
He's just a head, and that beam goes through anything. You can't even hide from it technically because it shoots through walls. It's very unfair.
It's like the Eye of Sauron.
Yeah, yeah. That's the best way to say it. But overall, I'm liking this game a lot.
I've been hearing nothing but good things, and I think it's been doing pretty well.
Yeah, I think it's like still at the top of the Switch seller charts right now. I know it's the number 1 selling Switch game in Japan from everything I've been seeing for like a few weeks straight. That and the Groove On game, the Rhythm Heaven games. Those are the ones the Rhythm Heaven games. That was also another big seller in Japan as well, which was another Switch exclusive.
Yeah. I didn't. So this game has been out a little bit longer than I thought. So I just pulled it up. It came out on July 23rd. So it's already been out for over a month, and I thought it just came out like a week ago or so. So
nope.
But yeah, it shows how much I pay attention to Nintendo stuff.
So. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those games. Unless you're like a Nintendo guy with a Switch 2 and everything, and you pay attention to everything Nintendo, I don't know if this would be on your radar. But for me, yeah, surprise hit. Fun spin-off game. A lot of fun stuff about it that I would recommend definitely going into this and playing this game. Even if you're not a Splatoon fan, this is built basically for people who don't like the Splatoon multiplayer.
Yeah, definitely seems like it.
But the gameplay is so smooth too. That's another thing. This is surprisingly like really well optimized and runs really well. I would say the best part about it is just movement in this game is absolutely amazing. So I would say it definitely has made me curious about if they would do more with the Splatoon IP in the future that is more single player focused. Because this game's great. You know,
it looks like a good game.
Yeah, the movement of your little Inkling guy going into the ink and just like kind of just going around like this guy's doing here. It's surprisingly a lot more fast paced and fluid than I even thought. You know, that's the best way to say it. I'm just surprised at how much I've been enjoying this game. It's been a surprise.
There was the shark right there.
Yeah. So like that's the ult that you build up and everything else like that. So overall, I would say I would give this game an A. Okay. I have no issue with it. You know, I think it has enough challenge not to be a babby mode game. I feel like this game has enough charm in it to keep all ages happy. The gameplay is very satisfying for people who are snobs with fluidity and stuff like that. The story could be better, but I think that it's good enough. Like there's enough mystery, there's enough character development, there's enough charm in there to go, I see what you're doing here, and I appreciate it. So that's kind of what I have.
All right. So, hey, Jeff from Suns and Shadows dropping in chat saying, "Hail, chat. What's up, Jeff? Good evening to you, sir. Always good to see you. Hope you're doing well."
Yeah. Sorry, I was trying to close a notification, and of course it's, hey, did you mean to click a short? No, I did not.
What the heck was that?
Yeah, sorry.
So, all right. Well, yeah, I'm with dudes. Like if Switch 2 had Chivos, I'd definitely pick this up. Although I don't have a Switch 2 yet. But when I eventually get one, I'm definitely intrigued.
Yeah. Like I said, I wish Nintendo had like an achievement system. The only reason I like an achievement system is you can tell who's full of shit when they say they beat a game.
Exactly.
That's the only thing I like about them. And besides that, it's like, yeah, it's fun to have, but I like being able to be like, nah, let's see if you're telling the truth here.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless they mod their achievements, which that's a different story.
That could be, but most places, like most achievement tracking sites, that'll get you banned.
Oh yeah, it got my old 360 account banned, or not banned. It got labeled with a cheater. Did I told you that before?
Yes, I forgot about that, but yeah, you did tell me about that.
Yeah, I had a buddy who was like, oh, I know how to do this. I'm like, bull crap. Let me see it. So I picked the dumbest game that I could think of, like an NHL game.
I was just gonna say, do you remember what game it was?
Yes, it was an NHL game. I think it was 2009 with Patrick Kane on it for the Chicago Blackhawks winger.
Okay.
And he did it. I'm like, well, it's true. And then I got the cheater label and all my achievements taken away on my old account. I was like, I was like, oh well, it is what it is.
Yeah, I would been very upset if someone had done that on my profile without my permission. If I had said, yeah, go for it, then I'd only have myself to blame. But yeah, that's I care about the achievements a little bit more. So, all right.
Yeah, highly recommend anyone pick up Splatoon 2. If you're looking for games to pick up on your Switch 2, this for sure should be one of them.
Splatoon Raiders.
Sorry, did I say Splatoon 2?
You did say Splatoon 2.
No, it's also close to midnight here, and I've been working, damn near 13 hours.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, good stuff. Glad to be getting back to this and talking what we've been playing lately. So, Eamon had a great question here, so to kind of outro us here. So, for closing thoughts, are there any games you're excited about that were showcased today during Gamescom? I know it sounded like before we went live, you didn't really catch much of it. I caught a little.
I didn't watch any of it.
So
I had new bosses there, so I couldn't be on my phone or have my phone out like that.
So maybe on our next one we'll be able to. I caught a little bit. Most of what I'm excited for was stuff that we already knew was coming out, but he mentioned Mega Man Dual Override, which I'm very excited for. I just wish I'm partial to Mega Man X series over the classic series, so I wish we would get a Mega Man X9 rather than 2 more games in the Mega Man Classic series, because we got Mega Man 11 a few years ago. Now we're getting Dual Override, which I don't know if it's technically Mega Man 12 or not, but I'd prefer Mega Man X, but just more Mega Man. Bring it on. I love Mega Man. And he mentioned the free Witcher 3 HD upgrade, which is cool because I've not even played Witcher 3 yet. So the fact that it's getting a bump with a bunch of improvements, and also like graphically it's going to look better, that may have just bumped it up on the list of getting around to playing it, because these like giant like multi-100-hour games, I usually don't play them because I like playing a wide variety of stuff, and if I play something like that, it's going to take me a long time to get through. But maybe I'll bump it up the list and play it sooner rather than later. So that was a pretty cool announcement. The one that got announced today that I caught, that I don't know if it had been announced before, but I had never heard of it, and I'm really intrigued, is Exterminauts. And it looks like a mix between Helldivers and Satisfactory, and I'm like, I am in. So I need to look more into it, but that game, that was the one that I saw that I'd never heard of before today. That looks really, really interesting. So yeah, that's a couple of things that there was a bunch of other stuff I saw that was really that I'm really interested in, or just more information about games we already knew is coming out. But those are kind of the 2 biggest ones at this moment. There have been a lot of rumors of an Ori 3, and that would take the cake over basically anything else that could get announced at Gamescom if we get the announcement of Ori 3, because Ori and the Will of the Wisps is my second favorite game of all time. I love that game so freaking much. Got my Ori right there, and the shadow box that came to me from yours truly, Carl here. He sent that to me, so because he knows how much of a fan I am of Ori. So if we get an Ori 3 announcement, that was actually what the answer to one of our party chat topics last week, is if there was a game that you would what's a game that you would take off time of work to go play on release day? Ori 3 was my answer. So I would love to get an Ori 3. So hopefully with Xbox's showcases tomorrow, it's 7:00 my time, so I'm not getting up that early, but I'm hoping that when I get up, I'll be able to have some good news about potentially Ori being released in the near future.
Yeah, got that good old German time.
Yeah, because I think 7:00 my time is like 6 p.m. their time or something.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I think that'll wrap it up for tonight. So, Carl, great talking some games with you tonight.
Yeah.
What do you got going on that you want to let people know about?
Right now, I got new videos out. First part is games to pick up for the month of September, plus some backlog games that are more retro. Been trying to do something like that, just trying to have more fun with broadening my channel. Another thing too, we also put out our other video today, because the first video was out on Monday, but we had to re-edit it and re-upload it.
I saw you posted about a re-edited. I don't know if I saw that already or not, but I will be watching that if I haven't.
Yeah, and the second one that we got going on right now is part 3 of our PlayStation 3 series that we've been doing.
I did catch that one today.
Yeah, just more miscellaneous games to play for the PS3, pick up stuff like that. A couple shorts put out today. with the PlayStation 3 store being a little wonky too, because I noticed it, but I thought it was just my Wi-Fi. And then some people were commenting on that video, they're having issues, so put out some shorts. And then, of course, the rest of this week with the live streaming, tomorrow you and me will be talking about Mass Effect 2.
All right. So yeah, as next thing I got going on here, well, actually isn't on my channel. I'll be over on Carl's channel tomorrow night as we talk about Mass Effect 2, continuing our discussion of the Mass Effect series. We did Mass Effect 1 last month, I think it was. So we're on to Mass Effect 2, and that's going to be great because we are both massive Mass Effect fans. And then on Thursday night, I'll be having the next open mic with our buddy Paul Hadouken joining me. And I have to live up to losing our pickle bet. So I got to eat a disgusting pickle on stream and try not to vomit. So, and then, yeah, Metroid, well, Mass Effect Monday, next Monday, if anyone wants to join me for Mass Effect. And as I mentioned, I may do a early Metroidvania Monday in order to finish off Guns of Fury before that. We'll see. I haven't decided yet. So, but yeah, so and lastly, Eamon said, sadly or perhaps happily, Moon Studios lead dev, who is Thomas Mahler.
That guy's a fucking cock. I read his tweets and he just reads of arrogance. I'm like, geez, how about you make a game that's good that it wasn't Ori? How about you do that first?
I haven't followed him, so I don't know. I don't have a take on him either way. I am glad that he has made Ori my second favorite game of all time.
Yeah.
But he says that there is no Ori 3 in the works with or without him. Okay, I did not heard that. He has stated he wants to buy the IP from Microsoft. If it leads to another Ori game, I am all for it. Just give me another Ori game.
Yeah, I don't know. Moon Studios is also a studio that seems to be falling apart left and right. So I think he should worry about his own house before he talks. The old saying is, "He who lives in glass houses," right?
Shouldn't throw stones. Yeah, it's like
yeah.
Get no rest for the wicked out of early access, and then we'll see.
Yeah, when you're constantly like talking about sour grapes when you were allowed to port your game to other game consoles, and you are constantly in the news cycle of being like one of the worst places to work and make video games for, that rivals, any of the AAA nightmares out there, I don't think you have room to talk. I don't think it's just a hit piece after a certain point in time. I think it's just, just make games and shut up. Just like with all the leftists, make games and shut up.
Yeah, I know. I've heard that he's pretty vocal on X. I just don't know like his position on anything.
He's just a red meat kind of guy. You know what I mean? He's just gonna say whatever he thinks he can get a bunch of likes for to kind of take away the massive elephant in the room that doesn't want to address about how Moon Studios is a terrible place to work at.
So. All right. Well, right here at the end, Ariana's coming in saying hello, everyone. Good evening, Ariana, but we are just wrapping up. So good to see you, but hope you have a great evening. So thank you all, everyone, for joining us for another Backlog Battlin. We'll plan to be back again in 2 weeks on the 8th. Well, I don't know if Carl's planning on it, but either he or I'll find someone else to join me. But we'll do another episode of Backlog Battlin on the 8th in 2 weeks. So if anyone wants to come on and talk about what they've been playing lately, that's kind of the format of this show. So let me know. So, Carl, always good talking to you, and I will talk to you again tomorrow for some Mass Effect. And everyone in chat, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Have a good evening, and we will see you all later. And as always, in the meantime, game on.
Later.